Hi everybody, I'm Mike Handcock, the chairman of the Circle of Excellence group of companies. And with Landy Jack today, I'm in Antwerp in Belgium, which is one of the most stunning ancient cities in the world, and also the biggest city for diamonds in the whole world for over 500 years. So I want to tell you about the history of Entrepreneur X Factor, the competition that you've entered, your version of it, Young Entrepreneur X Factor. Because in telling you that story, it's telling you about the journey of entrepreneurs. So I was sitting back in 2012, 11 years ago, watching television, and on TV was a show called X Factor. And I thought to myself, I wonder if there's an Entrepreneur X Factor. Surely they've thought of that. So I grabbed my laptop and I Googled it. And no, there wasn't an Entrepreneur X Factor. Then I thought, surely somebody's going to have entrepreneurxfactor.com, because every good .com's gone. So I went to the .coms and I looked, and no, it wasn't there. And for $19.95, I then became the proud owner of the brand Entrepreneur X Factor. But then what to do with it? And I remember very clearly that this was February the 16th, 2012. I had no concept in my head of what to do at all with that brand. Enter truck. But then after I decided to think about that, within a day my plan had shaped. This was going to become an event. This was going to become something that people could enter from all around the world, and we would see who are the entrepreneurs with the most X Factor from around the planet. So that was February 16th. By May 16th, which was just 3 months later, Entrepreneur X Factor in its very first season had been live in 12 countries around the world, starting in Auckland, New Zealand, and finishing in Oslo and Norway. We had literally over 500 participants that we'd found during those 3 months, and in turnover, that competition had turned over in excess of $500,000 US. In fact, it was 516,000, a lot of 16s in there. And that's when I realized that we had not only created something phenomenal for everybody out there, but also created something that was great revenue potential for our businesses as well. That's the entrepreneurial journey, and you've just been through that also, because the first step is actually taking that step, moving into that first stage of entrepreneurship, and you've done that by coming all this way to where you are today. So your very first thing you have to do in entrepreneurship is to show up. But then once you've shown up, and once you've proven a concept like we did with Entrepreneur X Factor, the second thing you have to do is you have to then step up. So show up is number one, step up is number two. So in year 2, guess what? Entrepreneur X Factor went to 26 countries around the world, finishing up in Bucharest in Romania that year, where following that, we actually had our board meeting for our company we held in Dracula's castle in Transylvania, just for a bit of fun after that, and a beautiful castle it is, Bram Castle. So in that year, we had literally thousands of people from around the world enter the competition. And one of those entrants from Johannesburg in South Africa was Landy Jack. So not only did Entrepreneur X Factor create for me good income and created the ability to contribute around the world and help people and entrepreneurs, but it also introduced me to the person who became my business partner, and much more importantly, the love of my life and my wife. So when you go on a journey, you never know where it's going to take you. Show up, step up. And then the third part of that is to give back. And around about 2017, 2018, we spoke with Ann Tam of Ace Adventure and Duyamas, Triamas, and talked to her about the whole concept of Entrepreneur X Factor. By that stage, it had been running for years. There were 2 best-selling books out in the marketplace that were international bestsellers called Entrepreneur X Factor the original one and a second edition. And Anne said she would love to run Young Entrepreneur X Factor. And guess what? That Young Entrepreneur X Factor is what you entered today, and what for you is going to remain one of your poignant memories of how you showed up and how you stepped up during your formative years to put your ideas out there in front of the world and out there in front of international mentors and judges like Landy Jack, myself and Tam and our other wonderful group of judges. So I simply want to wish you all the best for what's going to happen today. To attract me, you're going to have to be uplifting, you're going to have to make real sense, there's going to have to be total clarity, and lastly, I'm going to want to see that you really believe in what you're doing. But one final thing, it doesn't matter what the outcome of today's competition is, because you've already learnt more than you could imagine. I know during the process of my business career, I've applied for and won numerous business awards, but I've learnt just as much about myself and my business from the awards that I haven't won, simply by going through the process of application and putting together what the judges need. So good luck, have fun today, and we're looking for you to be incredibly inspirational. Bye-bye.